Underway. Welcome to this joint shareholders committee meeting. I'll just open with karakia, tue kurunga, tue kararo, tue koroto, tue kawaho, tue tātou te tangata, ki te kaupapa o te hui ne, ki te kaupapa o te rangi ne, Māori ora ki a tātou katoa. Welcome everybody. So we have Councillor Morgan on Zoom twice as it happens. That's so good. Welcome, Paul. So yes, hopefully, can you hear us all okay?
Yep.
Good as gold. So yes, so just no speakers today, relatively small room. So apologies, council chambers having some work done on it currently. Just noting before we get into the balance of the meeting, there is a scheduled workshop after this. Mayor Smith has been delayed. His plane has been delayed. It is unlikely he's going to get here for this meeting at least. If he's not here, we probably won't run the meeting. Otherwise, we'll probably just have to rerun it another day. Not the meeting, sorry, the workshop. So we'll just judge that as we go. With that, I'll come across to any apologies from Mayor Smith for lateness. Someone move. Deputy Mayor Mahari, second. Councillor Ellis, all in favour, please say aye. Yeah, it's carried. And we will now come to the public forum. So we have one person registered to speak in public forum. So Larry Blair.
I'll do my clickers. All right,
I will hand over to you, Larry. You've got 5 minutes. I'll give you a nod if you are still going at 4.5.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you all for the 5 minutes. So I'm a local who lives on Seaview Road in Stoke, and we walk over to the airport quite often. And as you're walking up, if you can go to the, I don't know, in my click. Have I got a clicker?
As we go.
Yeah, that'll work. Okay, cool. I'll sing.
Just wink each time you want.
Sweet. So yeah, that dotted line's from Monaco over to the start of the airport perimeter walkway. And as you can see, you've got to go from all the way up and across the northern access, which is historic reason that's there, and then down and around. So that's a 16-minute or 1.2 kilometre walk. Whereas if we go to the next slide. The next one after that. So my thought was, why don't we get a bridge down the bottom and then you can make it a 10-second walk. So that'd be cool. But down there goes from the underpass under the State Highway 6, which goes through a wetland and stuff like that. So my sort of second idea, if we go to the next slide, is sort of option 2 from up on this other little creek up there, which is kind of the runoff from the motorway. That takes 800 metres off and 11 minutes for a walk to the bottom of the perimeter. So that's the airport's the only landholder up there. Connects to the bike track over to Nayland Road and the junction and things. It's less, probably cheaper to do. So we go to the next one, please. So that's what I just said. So sorry, I'm not very professional. I usually work with a comms manager. So, next one. I'm off the hook. So my other thought to grow on that is putting another bus stop down on that corner down by the bridge. So at the moment you can see if you want to take the airport bus and go somewhere, which I sometimes do if I want to go at the brook or bike tracks or something, got to walk all the way over there. But if we go to the next one, so if we had another bus there, you can use the same route, but it takes it to nothing. So if we go to the next one, you can see the sort of 15-minute walk distance from Google guesses sort of takes you just to the edge of Nayland College, which is that paddock down there, and Seaview Cemetery, and pretty much to nothing except the airport. So that's the end of the airport bus, goes to the airport and doesn't do anything else. But if we go to the next one, so a 15-minute walk from there, obviously it's not a perfect circle, but it actually gets you all the way up to Nayland Road, and it's at the front of Nayland College and the pool, and all the way up to Birchwood and the Monaco Eateries. So and that's walking, not biking. So it improves the airport number 4 buses reach into the southern airport suburbs. So next one, please. So it also changes what the number 2 bus. So I've put the little yellow orange dots there, but it's number 2 bus. So now if you're coming from Richmond and want to take the bus to the airport, instead of having to change up at Tahuna to the other bus or take a 23-minute walk, you could then take this little bridge. And that's a 15-minute walk without a bus change, which is probably much more appealing to people. So I don't know what I've got next. Let's say the Southern Development Area. If that, I don't know what's going on there. Don't worry about it. But it means, people can get down to the Monaco eateries and they can service the airport with accommodation and food and stuff a bit easier that way, and just nice lunch times and stuff. So it could be quite cool. Yep, so there's normal bridges. We've done 2 of those quite recently. So I imagine the same fabricator and expertise is around. So the left one's the northern, the one at the northern end, and the other one's the one on Quarantine Road. So yeah, those are good. Okay, next one, yeah. Or we could do something out of control. That's pretty expensive and flat. But for 8, sometimes there's arts funding. But yeah, I thought good ones are cool. Yes, I just thought I really appreciate the opportunity to present it to you guys, and I'm sure there's a reason there's not a bridge down there, but maybe it's just history that there isn't. But whatever, I thought it was a cool idea, and we're throwing it out there as a bit of an experience. Yeah, that's all I got, I think. I've got a presentation as well, and there's an interactive map if you're curious later. Anything?
Thank you very much, and sticking within your 5 minutes. So really appreciate the time and effort you've put into both preparing the presentation, the thought that's gone into it, and coming along and presenting it today. So
Thank you. Nice experience.
And yeah, so no doubt we will pass it on to those who make decisions around airports, and also obviously particularly for Nelson City Council. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be interested in the concept at the very least. So thanks very much.
Thank you. Enjoy your day. Thanks.
Right, we'll carry on with the agenda. So the declarations of interest, any items on today's agenda? There are not. There are no late items. There are no minutes to confirm. Is that right, Robin?
That's great.
So we'll move to the reports. So first up, we've got the half-yearly report and draft statement of intent from Tasman Bay's Heritage Trust. If someone, oh, hello, someone, you have to push the green button. Push the green button to your left. Perfect.
Just pull the door harder.
Yeah.
No?
It's very robust.
Half a minute, so we can live up here.
Yeah.
That's the Hulk.
Just an opportunity to step. Huh?
Getting forward.
Welcome. I will hand over to you guys to go through your presentation.
We actually have presented last time.
Yep.
So really enough to update in terms of some questions that we received.
Yeah, good as gold. Yeah.
But introductions first. So myself, Venus, chair of the board, I have Andrew as trustee, Lucinda, CEO, and we have Tony, who's our finance guy. And regarding a couple of questions that we did receive after my email, we do have some answers, and I'm going to pass it over to Tony to answer those questions. And then if there are any further questions, we can touch on them.
Thank you.
I can't remember the wording of the question. Have you got it off the top of your head? Got any chance?
You've got those. It was really an update, I think, on the status for fundraising progress.
Yes.
And the question last time at the last meeting was, which we did respond to on email, was just getting clarification about the $700,000 that was already indicated as committed to the project before we started further fundraising, and how much of that was actually banked. And would indicated that that the bank was $160,000 of that $700,000, and the reason for that was that 500,000 of that committed, 700,000 up front, was conditional on a certain milestone in the construction project, which is essentially building consent. So once we have building consent, we're automatically eligible for that $500,000. So, and then the remainder was a phased payment arrangement for one of our philanthropic donors who pledged $50,000. So that's the status, just confirming that everything pledged is committed, and the phasing of that is determined by the progress with the construction contract. So that was the first thing. The second question that was raised was related to how do the figures business case relate to what we're doing at the moment in terms of fundraising. And the figures picked up at the last meeting mentioned by Mayor Nick Smith was relating just to those figures that were sitting in the business case in terms of progress of fundraising, of which 181,000 was expected to be in place in the March 2026 now. Our response to that is that the basis for cash flow for the business case has changed now with the current project, because the project itself is starting about 3 months later than we originally anticipated it starting. So everything that sits in the business case that's date stamped is actually shuffled over by about 3 months. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that when we did the cash flow for the business case, a critical thing around cash flow was when we were able to get the sales proceeds from the Church Street sale. So we'd sort of targeted in fundraising proceeds to make sure we maintain positive cash flow. A lot of the pressure for that's come off because we're able to secure an upfront purchase arrangement for Church Street right at the start of the project, which is actually coordinated and date with the purchase of the Coman Drive site. But that meant that it took a huge amount of pressure off the cash flow for the whole project. So, and what we did is we sold Church Street at registered valuation for that site to a party. That was done up front. That was coordinated with the purchase price commitment to Coman Drive. And so the whole thing was about a $300,000 difference, but a lot of money in terms of cash flow trying to meet is dealt with up front. So what we then did after that was recast the cash flow. And the cash flow that was recast has been the one that's been approved by the ARC Project Liaison Group. And so, yeah, the figures do look a bit different. But having said that, we are at the moment pretty well right on target in terms of the cash flow that we predicted we needed to have for fundraising. And overall, we're well ahead because the project, in terms of some of its costs, are lagging. So we're in a better cash flow position than we expected to be at this particular point of time. I'll be at Tony. Is there anything else?
I think, yeah, just to confirm, so if we want to talk about actual numbers as well. So at the end of March, we've actually raised over 110,000 of our fundraising at this point. So that's what's in our bank account right now. With basically, as Andrew said, in terms of the revised cash flow, that's actually ahead of where we wanted to be.
Okay. All right. So these are questions that came out of the previous meeting.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions, either questions of clarification in relation to the questions or the answers that have been provided, or other questions while we have TBHT here? Deputy Mayor Murray.
Thank you through the Mayor. And sorry, I only just read this last night, so I did email the question. But just in terms of your projections, because it's a note in the report in terms of an assumption of a 3.1% increase from both the councils. How much has that been discussed in terms of? I have no idea if that's in our current AP at the moment. So what discussions is behind the assumption that there will be an increase?
That's a very good question. The figure that we put in is based on a CPI increase of 3.1. We provided the initial budget to the council's team, but there's been no question back to us about that at this stage.
And then just since you've got the finance man, I'm through the meeting, and I haven't got the page, but from memory, in your budgets going the year ahead, the only inflated income figure that's increased is the council's contribution. So the fees have remained static, funding remains static, but councils at 3.1. So I guess a little pushback in terms of the question of why just council's income has been adjusted for CPI.
Yes, no, understood. For us, we have actually increased our retail shop revenue significantly, especially this year. We're up about over 30% on prior year. So we are pushing our retail numbers through, but you know, they are still very small at this moment. When you look at the bottom line, they don't contribute enough. We're seeing major cost increases coming across the board around technology and the other costs. So we are in a way trying to starve off some of those costs. Things around other revenue streams for us. So we've got a contract with central government with MOE that unfortunately at this stage is still a fixed price contract.
It's about 82K, is it?
82K, yeah. And so at this stage, they haven't even indicated any kind of CPI increase, and they haven't for the last 3 or 4 years. It is a question that someone's putting to their team tomorrow, actually. I asked for that one. And yeah, just sort of on the other sort of revenue, our main is going to be through our retail channels. We have also put in the budget to grow our sort of grants revenue. So us going out seeking grants of other trustees and organisations. We're going to target 50,000 next year, because that is it is another source of income. It's just sitting there. And it will help pay for a lot of the projects as well as meeting some operating costs.
Thank you.
Cheers, Stephen Maru. Yep, councillor.
Just the question around the draft SOI that introduces a goal to rename the museum. And so could you just outline what the process is and stakeholder engagement that's planned around that and what the timeline looks like?
Kia ora. Yes, so this has been on the table for a while now, and we have had consultations with council and with iwi, and I think Mayor King was involved in the original discussions around the framework for that. We have had a suggested name gifted to us from iwi, but we are in a position where we're dependent on the iwi Chairs Forum to make a decision around whether we're working with 6 iwi as per the MOU that was set up over 20 years ago, or whether that's changing to working with the 8 iwi as per more recent agreements. So that decision is really sitting with the iwi Chairs Forum. We don't want to preempt with any decision around the name until we have clarity around that. So we're just in a slight holding pattern, but we're hoping for clarity soon.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Brand. Is there anything further? Councillor Courtney.
Thank you. Going back to the sale of the Church Street property, just want to get it clear. I can't read my own figures here. Was there a surplus you came out of that sale with?
The sale price was $925,000.
Yes.
The business case actually had 970 allocated.
Sorry, 980.
980 actually, yeah, 980,000. That was based on the assessed value earlier on, just as our best estimate of what we thought would be the case, but it's always going to be subject to having a registered valuation further down back to verify what its current value was.
Yeah.
And when we did the registered valuation, which formed the basis of the sale, it came in a little higher figure than we expected it to do. And the consequence of that is it put an additional small amount onto the fundraising target to achieve.
Yeah, right. And what would that amount be? Do you know?
So it's the difference between 925 and 980. So it's figures here. So it's gone from about 1.0.
Yeah, so
4 to
so we were originally 1.12 in the business case million, sorry, and now we're 1.175 million that we're looking for in fundraising.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we got the valuation, we did brief the valuer to take into account the work that had been done in terms of verifying the suitability of the site for that sort of development.
Yeah.
But in fact, it made minimal impact on the actual valuation received. So,
Good. Well, thanks for clearing that.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Anything further? Yep, Councillor Austin.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? So thanks for your report. It's really great. And but I see under your strategic goals that you are to be a good employer, which is fantastic. Can I have a read of that? And you chose pay equity to be a way to action your goal. So the statement of position, if I read that rightly, shows an increase of wages of over 16,000. And sorry, I didn't email this to you too. I'm just a new councillor, so I'll make sure I do that in the future. But just, it's really just an easy question. It's, can you explain how that was distributed amongst your staff, and sort of why was the reason, and was it due to extra hours for the art project?
The increase in the salary cost?
Yes.
No, it's not for extra hours or any additional resources. It is based on our status quo of the team that run the museum and run everything. It is purely just allowing for increases in salaries in the staff. So it's looking at a full commitment in the following year, allowing for additional salary increases.
Okay, and was that based on performance or just?
A lot of it is, it's a mixture of both. We do we look at both what are people paid within our industry and compared to other museums, and we also look at performance of individuals. So it's a mixture of both when it comes to our salary review.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Austin. Anything further? Just one, I guess, overall question in terms of confidence around the fundraising target. So the what is now 1.175, if I did that correctly. The level of confidence that you have that you are on target. So I know you are slightly ahead of where you wanted to be now, but that's great. Yes. In terms of getting to the final number, confidence around that.
Confidence is still very high on that one. We've got a detailed plan of goals that we're going for both grant funding, fundraising events, community events, and sponsorship and support. So we're very confident of hitting those targets and being able to confirm them.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks very much for coming in, for firstly for circulating the written answers to the questions from the previous meeting, and then coming along today to confirm those and answer the other questions. So appreciate the time. Thanks very much. Yes. Someone move that report be received. Then all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Okay, it's carried. And next up we have, so the first part of this is open meeting, isn't it? In terms of the 6 monthly report, and then we go in committee in terms of the draft SOI.
Yeah, the presentation at that stage.
Cool. Right, thank you. So yeah, do you want to grab IHL's representatives?
Morning, everybody.
Oh, hello, Nikki. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I am here to present the 6 monthly half-yearly report for IHL, reporting the airport to 31 December 2025. As you'll be aware, the IHL, or the three boards, were present at the 17th of March joint committee meeting and outlined their performance there. So this is just formally receiving the half-yearly report into the public, and it is available on our website. So happy to take any questions.
All right, thanks, Nikki. Are there any questions for Nikki?
Or the board.
Or Sue or Mark?
You got lost, a bit lost out there.
Yeah, so again, bearing in mind presentation, and there was a range of questions and answers provided at the previous meeting. So to some extent, this is machinery. However, if there are any other further questions that people have on the 6 monthly, if not, can I have a resolution? Move the resolution contained in the agenda. Move Deputy Mayor Maru, second Councillor Skeggs. All in favour, please say aye.
Right.
So now we'll move into the confidential session. And the topic of conversation here is to discuss the draft statement of corporate intent. And so can I have a procedural motion to move into committee? Move Councillor Paki, seconded Councillor Courtney. All in favour, please